What's going on, guys? Marty here with another video, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I don't usually post Total War videos on here, but I've recently been playing a ton of Rome Total War 2. I normally play like first-person styled games, so like Mordhau Chivalry or Bannerlord, things like that, more directly behind the character kind of style. But I do play a lot of these, medieval Total War style strategy games off stream and off YouTube. So yeah, if you like it, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'd be happy to post more because I'm always playing them. So today we're looking at the historic Battle of Raphia. The date is the 22nd of June, 217 BC. So Antiochus, conqueror of Syria, is marching on Egypt to face Ptolemy. We're going to be playing as Ptolemy, so let's get straight into it. First things first, let's scope out the enemy team and let's see what we're up against in this fight. So yeah, on the ground, we've got some javelin men. We've got some companion cavalry, which are going to be a real problem. They're super strong, lanced up, and they can really take a beating. So we've got to be super careful with these guys. As we scroll along, they've also got some light cavalry, which are less of a threat. But if they get up to our archers or our infantry, we're screwed. And there's the big boys, those big armored elephants, much stronger than our elephants. We've got some more infantry, not too much to worry about. A lot of pikemen, a lot of anti-horse units. And then we scroll on over. We've got a bunch more of ranged troops here, and we've got a swarm of light cavalry. So the real problem here is going to be cavalry. So we need to make sure we've only got about 4 pikeman units, I think. So we need to make sure we position them right. So yeah, we're kind of just adjusting here. The big issue we've got is the sheer amount of cavalry on both sides. I think the right, there's like 5 units of light cav, and then on the left, there's those really tricky heavy cavalry. So I'm just trying to get a couple of units on each side. I think I've moved 2 onto the right and 3 onto the left, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just making sure that, depending on which way they go, we do have a unit to engage. We've got a lot of miscellaneous troops here, which I don't have much experience with. We've got camel archers, elephants, and chariots. And none of those I've really used much before, so I'm definitely not going to utilize their tactics properly. So what I've done is I've moved 3 stacks of horses to the right as well, because I do know my way around the horses. Move the big boy into the middle as well. And then to oppose the right side, I've moved some of our cavalry on the left. I always like to have cavalry on both flanks in case we try to get flanked by cavalry, so we can engage them ourselves fast, because obviously the pikemen are amazing, but they're not fast. So we're going to brace with a pike phalanx on both sides. So all our troops drop their pikes. It slows them down and makes them, they can't chase a horse down, but if anyone comes in, they can brace and take a big impact from the cavalry. The one thing you will see is cavalry will try and flank that. So while we're all stood with our swords down, we're with the spears down, they will go around the back of the pikemen and try and run them down from behind. And you do see that in this battle. They do that, I think, at some point. So yeah, we're moving the archers up behind the swordsmen. So we've got swordsmen and axemen in the middle. And then we've got this big cluster of miscellaneous troops that I don't really know what to do with. So we're just lining up all our horses into diamond formation. So it makes them better at engaging other melee. Ideally here, what we'd want to do is take out some infantry with these. But the problem we've got, as you can see, is all the archers on the enemy team do have a pikeman near them. So we're in a position where we can't really just charge in at the archers, because they're just going to destroy our horses instantly. So let's get straight into it. You can see here we've got a big push from the light cavalry. We'll embrace 2 cavalry on one on each side to try and nip out this unit as fast as possible. We're moving our chariots and our other cav into the other groups. And then we're going to move our elephants more into the central side, because there's just a bunch of pikemen here, and that's not really a great thing to face our elephants with. You can see that we're probably not making the best move on the right, but I didn't want them to have free reign. I didn't want their enemy troops to get in. So they've got the big elephants coming in here against our infantry, which is a big problem. So I'm putting every single archer unit on them to try and, thin the numbers down as fast as possible. We've already dropped 1 elephant there, dropped 2 elephants there, 3, 4. So, we tried to get that unit trimmed down as fast as possible. Obviously, it's at the expense of our arrows, or whatever, javelins, whatever they were using. So now that unit's down, I'm going to move the elephants around the other side and try and see what's going on the left. This is where I struggle in Total War. Once everything starts kicking off, without pause, I try not to pause the game because I like the flow of battle. So once it all kicks off, it's hard. I'm over here micromanaging these units, and things are going wrong on the left. So you're probably going to see a lot of this where we pan right, and then when we go back, it's kind of chaos. I know I should probably pause. I like to have this, I like to be punished for my mistakes, really. So yeah, you can see here, they're moving a big bunch over to the right, which is a bit of a problem because we're not supported over there. So I'm trying to pull our units back. Luckily, they're all on horseback, so we can pull them back quite quickly. We're still engaging in the middle. You can see a lot of dead bodies from the arrows, which is great to know. And you can still see tons of arrows going over there. Our camel archers we're not really using well, if I'm honest. We should have probably took them around the back, but with all the pikemen, I was just a bit nervous. They're restructuring their team here. You can see they're moving more units over to the left now because we've moved our units out of the right. So I'm taking our pikemen in a big force to try and engage their cavalry. Obviously, not going to work too great because, cavalry's a lot faster. And then I see a bit of a, there's a couple of archers on the right which aren't really supported. So I took this as an opportunity to move all our ranged units on them because we didn't really have much of an issue on the right. And then you see here, we've got the cavalry. They just went and attacked our stationary cavalry because we didn't move them, which is genius. So I'm moving the cavalry out of the way and moving the pikemen up to try and, I'm trying to surround the horses, but obviously it's very hard to chase down a horse with a stationary unit. You can see here we did manage to clip a big group of them, so we have dropped a few horses here. And then, we need to move our horses really, so we can see a lot of archers now with all grouped up at the back, so I'm trying to move the horses to a better position because we're not using our horses really very well here. You can see over here our archers have been picked off by cavalry despite all of the pikemen that we had. And again, you can see the camels are still stationary and the elephants are stationary. So I tried to move those in. So I moved the elephants to the back because they should be able to stampede at the back. And then I'm trying to flank this this pikeman unit. So I'm taking units around both sides to try and thin the numbers down as fast as possible. Moving all our archers into the big cluster in the middle because we have kind of won the left side. You can see here all our units have kind of held the left side. They're now flanking us with cavalry though, which is a big problem. I did pause here because I was realizing it was about to go very, very wrong because we hadn't given most of our troops orders. So I paused and we tried to move the pikemen into the middle, move the melee units into the middle, and move our archers into the middle, kind of taking everything we can in a big push to the middle because they just weren't getting used because we hadn't given them an order. You'd be aware there is a big cavalry unit at the back, which I don't think I'd spotted at this point. So now we're moving the elephants around as well. And there's not really much to say here. This is just kind of a big cluster. We're just engaging infantry on infantry, pike on horse, and trying to make as many strategic moves as we can. But, if you've played Total War games, once they cluster up, it's hard to really do much. They brace together and they just fight it out. We're moving a pikeman now round back to that horse that flanked us. And we're moving the other pikemen onto the other horses that are flanking us. You can see here I made a huge mistake. I was facing one way and the horses flanked and they got right through us. And again here, huge mistake. Don't do that with your pikemen. Don't put them in flanks mode or phalanx mode, whatever you want to call it, where they put their pikes down. Because, if you're facing the wrong way, they're going to take you out. They've realized here they're bracing away. I think I dropped the defensive stance here because we need to fight them one-on-one. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? And yeah, not much else to say here. We're moving our archers in. You can see here we've got archer v archer. I think our archers here had run out of arrows, which is great. If you play Total War, you can turn fire at will on or off. I had mine turned on, so they burned through their arrows quick. It did delete a lot of the enemy troops, which is, we did need to do that, but it does put you at a bit of a problem when you need to face them. As you can see here, we've got pikemen versus elephants. I really like this fight. I think it looks really cool, but those elephants are strong as hell. They're just knocking our pikemen down like they're nothing. We didn't really break any of the elephants as well. You can see here my archers with no arrows are chasing off the other archers that do have arrows. So this does not go well. You'll see that soon. Nice here, look. Run the cavalry into the back of the braced units because they were fighting our other troops. Really good tactic. Always recommend taking on one unit with another. And they've just done it to us. Look, they've just rushed their cavalry into the back of our units. That is, a cornerstone of Total War. It's one of the tactics you'll see all the time the AI using and what you should be using yourself. Again, the pikemen are not doing too well. We've got a unit here that we've completely not used because we are awful at this game. So we take them up there to charge down any units we can find. We've got the swordsmen here and the elephants, so we're trying to find solutions for them. Most of it here is just, I think at this point, I think I knew I'd won, so I was just trying to pivot everything around to make sure we could surround who we could and engage who we could. There were units not really doing anything. But yeah, we pretty much got the victory here because we thinned down a lot of the big armies. So I was happy to just engage, elephants on pikemen, swordsmen on horses, whatever it took really, because we'd won the numbers. So I was just pushing all the troops together to try and have a big fight in the middle. And yeah, that's my favorite part of the game, when you know you've got the victory and you can kind of lower your strategies a little bit. You can see here the pikemen aren't having a great time, but I was pretty confident we'd got this, so I started moving units around to try and finish off the middle. I moved the pikemen in as well. What was happening over here? Oh yeah, these elephants, just moved some cavalry on them because there's only 3 left. It's not really too much of a problem, but we don't have the strongest cavalry and they're gone. So yeah, we lost our cavalry there because we thought, 3 elephants aren't bad, but I think it's a bit of morale. You don't really want to be facing big elephants in battle. We got rushed again by cavalry here, and I think this is the point where we realized there was nothing really left to do in the middle. We'd thinned down everything. Most had either won off. We'd either destroyed everyone or they'd fled. We had like 1 rogue cavalry unit left. We'd got 3 big elephants left, and that was really it. So I took 3 groups of whatever I could find to engage the to engage the elephants. Just charged them all in. You'll see how that goes. There we go. Look at him go down. And you'll see we bring the infantry in as well, the swordsmen. But I wasn't too worried at this point. There we go. Easy. You can see in the distance we've got the problem where we chased the archers all the way across the map, which was genius. There was a little rabble of horses left. Wasn't really too worried about what they were going to do. They were mostly trying to, flank us. So we just turned the pikemen, put them on track, and then we're pretty much confident. Here you can see me realizing my problem. I'd run a bunch of archers that have got no ammo into archers that have ammo, panicked, and here's the very last part of the fight. There's a few horses left. We've got 2 units on them, mostly just burning down their morale, burning down their numbers. Nothing to really worry about. I pretty much pushed everything into them just to tidy them up. There was no real risk here because it's pikemen versus cavalry at the end of the day. Not an issue. They weren't fleeing, but they were trying to get away to reposition. So we just charged everything into them. Cavalry, elephants, deleted them instantly. And then, yeah, the only thing left was this stupid thing we'd done where we chased them all the way up the other side of the map. So I think I'm just going to fast forward here because we just need to chase them up with everything we've got, really. I realized, they're just going to get further and further away. So I need to take these, I'm going to call them archers, but they're not. They're like, they're pelters. So I think they throw javelins. They run out of ammo pretty quick. So yeah, I'm going to fast forward so we can chase them all up. So here we go. I bought some cavalry on fast forward mode coming up. I turned back to go back in. They're starting to hammer our archers. Not too worried because the real thing we want here is the cav. And here we go. We embrace. It's almost an instant win. They start to flee. We get just a bit ahead of them. And then, boom, we turn the cavalry and just absolutely delete them. And that's a pretty good way to end the fight, really. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is completely different to anything I've made on YouTube before. So, yeah, I didn't really know how best to do this. I just wanted to talk through a pretty good game, a pretty interesting match I had. I hope you like it. Please let me know in the comments. Do you like this? Would you change anything? Or is it not for you? I'd love to know what you think. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.